Welcome back to the Michigan State Valley Suns Spartans podcast. Glad to be with you on the day that Jordan Ott, of course, Michigan State alumnus, he's been officially named the head coach. I guess we really shouldn't have been surprised. Sundo, what was your initial thoughts when you heard the news?
My initial thought probably is going to be with the fans here, like really another one, another Michigan State guy. You know, we got Brian Gregory. Now we have this guy. It just feels like a good old boys club hire. You know what I mean? Like that's really what it feels like. Like they didn't even really try. Like they put a bunch of dudes together in a coaching line and was like, okay, we're going to interview all these guys, but at the end of the day, we really want this guy. And we're really going to push Devin Booker to want this guy. Johnny Bryant, nah, you really want this guy. And that's what it feels like. I understand he's got a connection to Michigan State. I understand that that's what they're going to be comfortable with. But to me, it feels that way. And, you know, as I mentioned before, I was on my way here. Like, it's a neutral or negative hire for me, at least, just because we got to wait and see if he's going to be any good. So there's the neutral part of it. And then also you still have the negativity of another Michigan State guy. So, you know, that's just how I feel. Like, it's just weird, but I'm going to try to be neutral about it. But man, it's just, you know, we joke about them saying they wanted to be aligned. Well, with all the Michigan State dudes in that building, they better be aligned.
Yeah, they're going to be. I don't know if aligned was like a pseudonym for under the thumb of Matt Ishbia and willing to do whatever Matt Ishbia says, but I'm trying not to be negative, even though everything I'm saying is, okay? Especially if you see my Twitter lately, I've just been very sarcastic, just cracking jokes at the Suns' behalf. But as I'm looking into this more, the one thing that gives me true solace is the fact that Devin Booker reportedly also wanted Jordan Ott. And if that is the case, it makes me feel basically 100% better than I did before. It really would have been painful for me if he had named Johnny Bryant as the guy he wanted, and either Matt Ishbia was like, well, I'm sorry, there's a bad connection. You said Michigan State guy. If it was either that or Tom Thibodeau gets fired the night before and Johnny says, hey guys, thanks, but I think I'm going to the Knicks. You guys waited a day too long. Those two things would have broken me as a human being. And I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. The one thing that's going to make this all better, the only thing that could make this better is winning. And I just don't know if we were ever in store for that this upcoming season to begin with. So this guy just has Jordan Ott, might as well get used to saying his name, okay? He has a lot of pressure. He has to win immediately, but or he will continue to be hated.
But does he have a lot of pressure? I feel like there's a lot of pressure from the fans and the outside, but I think in-house in the building in the Suns front office, there's no pressure. I think they're going to give him a longer leash than normal. I think they like the fact that he can develop players. He gets credit for, you know, the Evan Mobley development in Cleveland. And I think they're going to, with him and Brian Gregory, they're really going to try to build this franchise from the ground up again, getting young talent. And I think he's going to have a longer leash. I think they really see him as a guy who's going to develop the future of the Suns along with Devin Booker and maybe Kevin Durant if he doesn't get traded, which I think he will get traded, but there's also that. And so I think he's going to have a long leash, bro. I don't think he has to win immediately from the front office. Now, from us fans, sure, we're frustrated. We've been promised nothing but, you know, good things for the last minute. Ever since we went to the finals, it's been like promise, and nothing's came of it. So yeah, for the fans, yeah, there's definitely a short leash. But from the front office, heck no, they're gonna give him all the patience.
You're probably exactly right about that. The pressure will be coming mostly from the fans and the media, you know, that is going to, like, let's say Johnny Bryant goes somewhere else and starts killing it. Let's say Chris Quinn goes somewhere and starts killing it. And you keep getting these reminders like, oh, hey, remember the time we picked Josh Jackson over De'Aaron Fox. Hey, remember the time we accidentally picked Jordan Ott? This is something else I don't like about the situation. Johnny Bryant was the lead assistant coach. Jordan Ott is underneath him. So if we're giving credit for what was going on with the Cavs, I don't know. They looked into the situation a lot closer than we have. But that seems a little bit fishy to me, that Jordan Ott was beneath Johnny Bryant and yet still gets plucked out like, hey, yeah, I know you're lower in the pecking order, but we're going to go ahead and push you ahead. It has nothing to do with you being from Michigan State. It's not about that, even though everyone involved in our front office is either from Michigan, Michigan State, or Detroit Pistons. That's just a coincidence. Like, what? You guys are weird. You're being weird right now that you're noticing these things. Who notices these things? It's gaslighting of the highest order. But like I said, thank God Devin Booker is okay with this. Okay? He's 40 years old, Jordan Ott is. I'm happy about that. I wanted a younger coach.
Yep, I agree.
You know, like you said, he's known for development. He's also known for his offense, which is interesting to me because I thought we were going to be going a defensive coach no matter what. So it'll be interesting to see who he brings in to be his defensive voice in the locker room. Other than that, man, I mean, he's been in the league for 13 years. He was with, I believe, the Nets for 3 separate installments of coaches. So 3 coaches came in and said, I am going to keep that guy. That makes me feel pretty good. He was with the Hawks, Nets, Lakers, and then Cavs. But Johnny Bryant just seems like he was supposed to be the guy. I never heard one negative word. I've only heard glowing things about Johnny Bryant. He's so ready. This is his time. He's worked his way up. Players love him. It's just, I'm just hoping there was a good reason. I really, it would hurt. It would feel good and hurt if you find out that Bryant is going to be the next Knicks coach, which is a possibility. And that's why the Suns had to say, okay, well then, yeah, we'll go with our Michigan State guy that we really wanted.
It's funny that we got what we wanted. Like in our discussion, we genuinely got what we wanted, right? A younger guy, a guy who's going to be innovative, an offensive minded guy. That's at least that's what I wanted, who was going to build around Booker because I wanted to see them build around Booker because I thought Durant's going to be gone. That's another thing. He's going to include Booker. We're going to build around Booker, develop other players around Booker. Check. All that's happening. But the moment that we heard that he was a Michigan State guy, that threw water on the fire. You know what I mean? Like, it's just funny how that worked out.
It just doesn't feel right.
He's from Michigan State, so you know what I mean? Yeah, I agree with you. It doesn't feel right. It really genuinely feels like another good old boys hire. Like,
allow me to explain why in my own thoughts here. So, to me, the math doesn't math. There are X number of candidates available for each job. You got general manager, you got your lead scouting position. Like what? We've got like 5 Michigan or 6 Michigan or Detroit Pistons or Michigan State people in our front office now. Okay. So of all those positions, what are the statistical odds that the best, you want to talk DEI, this is Michigan DEI. What are the odds? What are the actual mathematical odds that every person that is the best candidate for those jobs, they all just happen to come from the same goddamn zip code? That doesn't make sense to me.
Same zip code, but they'll be pretty close.
You get my point. Like, you know, a few different zip codes. Who knows how Michigan does their zip codes, okay?
5 exits down. 5 exits down. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I agree with you, dude. Like, what are the chances that every best candidate that you could have picked are all going to be from Michigan State or Michigan or Detroit? Like,
it can't be. It can't be.
I don't disagree.
Unless Doctor Strange is involved and he's used the Eye of Agamotto to determine this, and now we are locked into that answer and nothing else fits. Like, I want to like this guy, Sundo. I know I'm giving you a lot of grief here. I want to like him, but I refuse. I refuse. And I'm not going to hate him. But here's what I will refuse to do. I will refuse to pat him on the back. I will refuse to act like he was the right hire until he proves it. I had to go through this with the Huskers, with Matt Rule and Scott Frost and all of them. Giving them their flowers before they produce anything. So I'm not going to be a jerk. I'm going to be a cool guy. Okay? But I am not.
Cool guy. You going to be a chill guy?
Yes. But I am not going to act like this was the right call unless he proves it. I'm going to be the neutral one on this.
I mean, we have to. That's the only thing we can be is neutral, or the fans will be negative. You know what I mean? Like, you have to wait and see. Him and Brian Gregory both. These are both going to be a wait and see, neutral hire. But here's my question to you. What's your timetable on it? How long are you going to give him? How long of a leash are you going to give to him as a Suns fan? Because like I mentioned, the front office, I feel, is going to give him a very, very long leash. But for fans, how long do you think this guy gets?
I think it's going to depend on how it looks out there, right? If they're playing hard and we just don't have the horses because we don't have them yet in the stable, and we're losing games, but we're playing close, we're closing out on threes, our defense looks much improved, but it's like, well, you could just tell this team is like now a player away. We've taken a step back. We're now like a player or two away, and you can lose with dignity. Bud wasn't losing with dignity. That's why he had to go. Vogel also, got swept. That's not dignified. So if we can lose dignifiably, if that's a word, that'll give us, I think we could give him like 2 years before we really, but the organization has given him a 4-year deal.
I don't know if they'll give him 4, but yeah.
They did. It's a 4-year contract.
Oh, my gosh, bro. So I agree with you. I think as long as he does the opposite of Vogel and the opposite of Bud, and you actually play young guys, I'm going to give you more release. And I think, and that's definitely what they're going to do. I don't think they have a choice at this point. Like, you're going to have to play your younger guys, especially after the draft, and you're going to have to play the Osos and the Ryan Dunns and players like that. You're going to have to play them. You don't really have a choice. And so as long as they're doing that, and like you mentioned, they're playing hard and games are close and they're not absolute dumpster fire like it has been for the last 2 seasons, then yeah, I'll be a little bit more lenient. But I just don't know how this fan base as a whole is going to take it, just because, again, every season since the finals run has been disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. Fans are hungry for a winner, and I think we got so spoiled by that finals run that we're not willing to take a step back. Like, we're not like we are in such denial that we're in a mode where we got to take a step back and rebuild and retool. Like, we are in denial about that. And so I don't know how well Suns fans are going to deal with 2 seasons that seem to be a developmental seasons. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how well Suns fans are going to deal with that.
I think hopefully we've already been drugged through hell enough to where maybe we're still getting drugged through hell, but we're used to it. And we've served our time. Nothing phases us now. Like, this is the new norm sort of thing.
I don't know. You see our chats during these games. Like, they're still,
That's
I don't
true.
think anybody's like that.
That's
I don't think
true.
anybody's like that. As long as we still have Devin Booker and potentially Kevin Durant, I don't think that's ever going to be the case.
KD's seemingly more and more gone every day with reports coming out. However, I wanted to bring this up to you. It had been reported quite a bit that the coach was going to have some say in KD's future with the Suns. What does it mean to you that the Suns just hired a coach who has a relationship with Kevin Durant, because this guy, Jordan Knott, was under Steve Nash when KD was there, and Devin Booker we'll use the word picked Jordan Ott himself. To me, there is no way that Devin Booker said, "What do I think of Jordan Ott?" and then just gave his opinion without talking to Devin Booker, or sorry, to KD, his boy.
KD.
Why wouldn't he have patched in KD and said, "Hey man, what was your experience with Jordan Ott?"
I'm sure he could have asked.
They had, dude, there's no way. If you and me were them, would we not talk about something like that? I mean, they probably have a closer relationship than we do. Let's just be completely honest. Like, they would have talked to each other. He would have asked KD, "What was your experience with Jordan Ott?" And that leads me to believe that Kevin Durant left a good impression on Booker about Jordan Ott. So is there a chance that this opens the door, if not just to put a crack back in the door, of Kevin Durant staying? Because I think my suspicion is Kevin Durant likes Jordan Ott.
I can't argue with that. And that was part of my thinking, with that hire. I was going through that and I thought, ooh, Brooklyn Nets connection when he was there with Kevin Durant. So I did see that connection. Here's the deal, man. If we keep KD and we keep Book, I don't know how well those two will deal with a quote unquote developmental season. You know what I mean? I feel like, especially Kevin Durant, he's going to want to win now. He's only got a few years left in his career. So I don't know how they'll feel about that. Now, maybe this guy is just going to be that good of a coach. He keeps those two. All of a sudden, the offense is on fire. They're playing well because they really like this guy, and the young guys are going to play well because they really like this guy, and he's just doing everything. That's a possibility. I don't know. I kind of with you at the beginning. The more and more it seems like Kevin Durant's going to be gone, and this is once again Devin Booker's team. They're going to move forward with him and build around him. And there's going to be a lot of people, at least in our community, in our Discord, in our live streams, that are not going to like that because Devin Booker has ran sour amongst a lot of people in our chats. But we'll see. I think Kevin Durant's gone. I still think they're going to try to get rid of him and get capital and give this guy and Brian Gregory the house and all the keys. Like, they're here for a while.
No, you're definitely right about that. My instincts tell me it's true. I'm holding on to hope here.
I'm kind of holding on to hope too. I do. There is a part of me that is curious to see what Kevin Durant and Booker would look under this coach who is going to actually be quote unquote innovative and have a fresh mind and will have a offense and can adjust, because the last two seasons have been two head coaches who have refused to adjust. What would it look like if we had a guy who would just that? I am curious about that. I really am.
How about this? If we're all already kind of coming to the realization together as fans that this upcoming season isn't going to be a record breaker for the Suns. We're not winning 70-some games. We'll be fighting again to, what are we going to do here? Are we going to tank, or are we going to get into, which we probably won't even be able to tank because we won't have the picks to tank, but are we going to fight for that play in? Oh my gosh, are we a 8th? Are we a 6th seed at best case scenario? So if that's the type of year you're going to have, why not do it with Kevin Durant? Other than, I guess, the best argument would be get what you can for him now, because you won't get nothing for him when he's actually 37.
Yeah, and actually when teams won't have control over his contract. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think. I should have looked this up, but does he have 2 years left, or is this his final season as
one season left as a Sun?
Okay. So,
and then he'd be going into free agency.
Oh, yeah. Well, then you might as well just get what you can at that point, because it sounds like he's going to walk regardless. I don't think he's re-signing if that's up. So you might as well get a first, second, whatever you can for him and just move on with your life. Because we keep forgetting that Bradley Beal's still on this team.
He won't That's another thing. But yeah. So
are you sure he won't be? Answer me this.
It don't matter if I'm sure, Gambo's sure. And Gambo's 3 times the man you are.
Well, I can't argue with that. And are they going to trade? Or are they going to do the provision, stretch provision? Like, I guess
whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Well, if they're going to do a stretch provision or whatever it takes, then you feel like then Kevin Durant's got to be gone too. Because
yeah,
You got to go that route. So
Yeah.
we're talking about Kevin Durant staying, but that's not a thing. So let's just move on.
There's one more thing I do like about Jordan Ott, and you brought it up a little bit. The development, the offensive expertise, it's not lost on me. I don't hate it. But I don't think it should go without being mentioned that he's known as a really good communicator and relationship builder.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I don't know if communication was Monty's greatest skill. I think it probably wasn't, but his relationship building was.
I think Monty was really good at relationships and communication.
Not with Ishbia. Yeah.
With the players, which
right.
is important because that's who's going to play at the end of the day. I think that is the most important part. So if I can really be that sort of communicator, and really rally the players like Monty did, yeah, cool, all for that. Again, just I still don't like the Michigan State hire.
I get it, but I'm just saying this seems and feels like a course correction from Bud, and it probably stems back even to Vogel and Monty. You could definitely say that Bud was not a good communicator. He was more of like a Joseph Stalin style communicator.
Drew Holiday, Bradley Beal.
And so they're looking for a guy as well that can communicate with front office well and the players and be a good middleman representation of the front office. And I think it's important because I do feel like each of the last couple of seasons, the Suns have quit on their players, or their coach. So I'm looking for a coach that the players won't quit on. And that seems like it could be the trait that keeps that from happening.
It's a positive for sure. Yeah. Like, I can't deny that. 100%. Like you hit the nail on the head. Like Bud wasn't a good communicator. I feel like Vogel was the same way. I feel like, you knew the reports that Kevin Durant had quit on Vogel before the season was even over. You were hearing those reports. And so that's why Vogel was gone. Yeah, if we can go back to having a coach that was even 2/3 of the communicator that Monty Williams was, I'll take it.
You got anything else on Jordan Ott you want to get off your chest?
No, man, I hate to keep sounding like a broken record, but for me, it's just for real. He's got to wait and see, dude. Like we got to wait and see. Can't wait for the press conference to hear what this guy says, hear what he talks about, hear what he's about, hear the plan. We have to wait and see. It's just, again, this is a Michigan State connection. And you joked in the beginning, but yeah, it really does feel like we are the Phoenix Spartans. You know what I mean? Like, and boy, if we draft a Michigan State guy this year, man, fans will go nuts if that's the case.
We probably will. Let's be completely
don't joke
honest.
about that.
If there's one available, I don't see.
About that, bro. Don't joke about that, bro. Because if they do that, then man, fans are gonna riot. Because that's super ridiculous and super sus that you're that. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, we low key might as well mix in like a Michigan State style jersey for like a city edition or something. Like whatever it's called.
You're gonna have to. No, HB's going to put in a request or whatever you do for a team change, a name change,
color change.
We're
going green.
We're gonna be green and white.
A green sunburst across the chest.
Oh my gosh, dude, that would be for St. Patrick's Day.
Tell us what you guys think in the comments. Thank you for hanging out with us. Also, if you like this form of content, let us know. Planning on doing more of these podcast style episodes, considering we are called a podcast.
For sure. And also, everybody, don't forget, we're all aligned.
That's my last question. Over under on how many times Jordan Ott uses the word aligned in his opening press conference.
Boy.
3? I say we set it at 3.
3 times he says it?
Yeah, because he's going to be aware. He's going to be aware. He's not going to want to. Or you think he's going to use a line the way Brian Guegowy did?
Oh my gosh, he might. If he doesn't, I'll commend him. But I think it's over 3.
Hit the like for it. Make sure you're subscribed. We're going to go live as soon as possible after Jordan Ott does his introductory press conference. We might go live during the press conference. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night for the finals Game 1 live stream. See you guys.